Hello everyone. Welcome to the Theologate Talks, a mission experience series of the Divine Word Theologate, a formation house of the Society of the Divine Word in Chicago, Illinois. I'm Carl Gales. I'm a seminarian in formation with the Society of the Divine Word. Our religious congregation is devoted to mission. Here at the Divine Word Theologate, we study and train to become missionaries. As part of our formation, we devote 1, 2, or 3 years experiencing mission in a culture that is not our native culture. This experience is called the Cross-Cultural Training Program, or CTP. Today, I am delighted to introduce to you one of my confreres who just came back from CTP in July. Jorge Zetino is originally from Guatemala, and he chose Germany as his CTP country. Welcome, Jorge!
Thank you, Carl, for having me. I appreciate it.
I want to thank you for agreeing to come and share your experiences with us.
My pleasure.
Okay, let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
All right. When people think of the idea of missionary, being a missionary, activity, we readily think of, okay, the developing world, places war-torn, poverty, places that suffer from many social ills. Yet, we're learning that mission means so much more, and it's changed a lot within the last 50 years. So, I want you to talk to us and explain what prompted you to consider Germany as a place to do CTP.
Well, Carl, we're classmates, so as you know, we began the journey of discernment for CTP placements at the beginning of our second year here at the Theologate. I remember that we were given then a letter from the Superior General. It was Heinz Kuluke at that time, a German, SVD missionary. And in this letter, he highlighted the countries from his perspective in which he would like us to, not only us here at the Theologate, but all of the SVDs in the second year who are preparing to discern the OTP places, to start from there, from his perspective as the general of the society, where he viewed that the need was the greatest. And to my surprise, most of the countries in that list were European countries. And I remember Germany being almost at the top of that list. So my discernment began from there. And then I took the discernment to a practical and a personal level. The practical one was because, as you know, at CTU, I am doing a dual degree program. I'm doing the MD for my ordination to the priesthood, and an MA, research MA in Bible. So I thought to myself, well, Jorge, when you're enrolling in a Bible program, you have to learn languages, right? You have your Hebrew, your Greek, and you can study Bible without having to learn German. You cannot just avoid it. So I thought, okay, let me go to Germany and get this language out of the way, because at some point I will have to learn it, right? Either was Germany or here in Chicago. And as we know from experiences and from here in our conference, you learn a language better when you are immersed in the culture in the country. So I did. That was the practical one. The personal one was because Germany represents the foundations of our community, of our society. Arnold Janssen was a German, and our society was and is a German religious community. With German roots, and even though it was founded in Steyr, Holland, outside of that is very German. So I thought, let me also get to know the society from that perspective, something that would enhance my discernment.
Very interesting. Now we're going to switch gears here from a very serious tone to something a little bit more fun. We're going to talk about something very German. Something that you experienced in Germany that is very inherently German. Can you share that with us?
Yes. So And I think we can guess what that is. So one of my cultural shocks and one of my first encounters with the culture was in Munich. I arrived and did my studies in St. Augustine, the headquarters, located between, St. Augustine is a small town located between Bonn and Cologne. But every so often, the mission office will do missionary mission or mini mission Sundays. And for that particular Sunday, we went to Munich. The world's beer capital, I would say. And I remember arriving late at night at this parish, and the parish hall, parishioners were there because they were gonna host us, and take us into their houses. And they had prepared a buffet of typical Bavarian food and German beer. So I got up and went to grab a beer. There were 5, 6 different selections, and I saw glasses there. Having no knowledge of what that meant, I grabbed one beer and I grabbed one glass. And from the other end of the parish hall, there was an elderly German lady screaming, "Nein, nein, nein, das geht doch nicht, das geht doch nicht."
Uh-oh.
And I thought she was mad at me, you know. And mind you, this was my first month in Germany, so I wasn't familiar with the language, with anything, and I just froze. And then she came towards me in a very lovingly way and trying to explain, "No, this beer goes with this glass, and you can only drink this beer with this glass." So the Germans, they take their beer seriously, but they also take the way they drink it very seriously. And it's just fitting that we have some German beer.
We do?
And a German glass from Paulana. And because we're a Catholic religious community, this is a Paulana. There are 2 big breweries.
Okay.
In Germany, it's Franziskaner and Paulana, and this is the typical Munich or Bavarian beer.
Okay.
And we're almost getting towards the beginning of Oktoberfest.
Okay.
So it just fit in the...
All right, we're going to try this just a little, because I don't drink that much. Actually, I prefer wine, but, you know, for the mission experience, I need to try German beer. And
okay, part of my enculturation was learning to drink and appreciate the beer.
Okay, now, what is the normal toast in German?
So there are 2 toasts.
Okay.
One is Prost.
Prost.
And there's another one that they say Zum Wohl. Zum Wohl.
All right.
But if you're drinking beer, most likely it would be Prost.
Prost. All right, Prost. This is really good. Wow.
The German would say,
beer.
Not bad, nicht schlecht.
Nicht schlecht.
Nicht schlecht.
Nicht schlecht. All right. So now we're moving on. So you've given us 2 toasts. Prost.
Prost.
And
Zum Wohl.
Zum Wohl. Okay. Now we're gonna learn some more German. We need 3 sentences. Now, usually in another culture, if you don't know the language, you need survival sentences. Now he's going to teach us 3 survival sentences when you're in Germany. And they are?
The first one is a universal one, will be, excuse me, where is the toilet, right?
Okay.
And if you would say, entschuldigen Sie bitte. Entschuldigen Sie.
Entschuldigen Sie
bitte.
Bitte. Okay.
Ja, wo ist die Toilette?
Toilette.
Wo ist die Toilette?
Wo ist die Toilette?
Entschuldigen Sie is a very formal and polite way of saying that you would usually address people who are older than you,
okay,
or people that you don't know. Entschuldigen Sie.
Entschuldigen Sie, that's the formal.
The formal one, yeah.
Entschuldigen Sie, bitte.
Bitte, please. Wo ist die Toilette?
Wo ist die Toilette?
The second one would be, could you please help me? Right? Hilfe mir. But you will ask, können Sie mir bitte helfen?
Oh my goodness.
Können Sie
mir
bitte helfen? Telefon. And the third one is one that got me in trouble a little bit because it would be in English. I want a beer, right? I would like a beer.
Mm-hmm.
So I went once to a store and to a restaurant actually, and I asked for a beer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at the beginning trying to practice my German, and I told the waiter, "Ich will ein Bier. Ich will ein Bier. I want a beer, right?" And then I learned, no, that is very impolite. It would be, können Sie, no, ich hätte gerne, I would like, ich hätte gerne ein Bier.
Ein Bier.
Ein Bier.
Okay.
So those are the three main, especially when it comes to beer, survival phrases, I would say, that you need.
Now, our magical editor will probably put those phrases underneath the screen so everyone can actually see what that looks like. Thank you very much in advance. The next thing I want to, switching gears one more time. So we've gone from why, we've gone through survival, we've gone through a little bit of taste of Germany, but the real CTP experience, we all experience it going to CTP, are the difficult moments. Would you share with us what was a particular difficult moment in Germany?
Thousands of moments comes to mind.
Maybe you want to
to
just
help.
a little bit of beer to help you.
Okay, that helps.
Very good beer.
So I think one of the most difficult ones would be when I arrived in Berlin to begin my second year of OTP, my practical year, my internship year, and I was told that I would be helping out at a kindergarten. And I shared with our group how what that was like, and I found some resistance because I never worked with kids before, and given the present situation of the church, I was in an environment that I was not familiar with, so there was some hesitation there, and that was a difficult moment. A difficult moment because I wasn't prepared or I wasn't open to that idea. It was a difficult moment because, as you know, sometimes we're very vulnerable as students, and to voice my needs. And how do you tell your pastor, how do you tell your community? Actually, that makes me uncomfortable. I don't feel comfortable with that. But I did it because one of the things that we learned at the Theologate is we have to voice our needs. We have to stand up for ourselves. And I'm glad I did because I ended up teaching, working with kids at our kindergarten. And I'm glad I did it because it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Now, this was a gift?
This was a gift. This is it was made in Germany, but it's actually a Guatemalan quetzal, and it's the national bird. And I cannot tell you the hours that I spent doing different figures with kids, right? I don't know how to call this. But when I left, my kids that were like 4 and 6 years old, they did this for me to remember them. And it was something related to my culture, but it brings memories because it reminds me of the wonderful experiences that we had with them. And there is also some drawings that they did.
This was a gift from the kids.
It was a gift from the kids. It was a calendar.
Wow.
Celebrating fashion. It's like the version of Halloween to some extent.
Lots of German words.
Lots of German words.
Goodness.
And drawings.
Oh, that's really nice. Oh. Beautiful. There's a pic. Oh, wow. I know this word. August. Okay. Wow. And this?
And this is an album that I got from our conference in Berlin, the community that I was living with, a community of 10 SVDs. You can see them here, and it's just a picture with memories of
Really beautiful.
one of the best years of my life, and without a doubt, one of the most memorable years in my formation with the SVDs. It is a community that, welcomed me as I was,
Yes.
supported me, challenged me, and allowed me to grow. So from going from that difficult moment of having to say, I don't feel comfortable doing this, and then to say, you know what, it's fine, be open, and if it doesn't work out, we'll think something else. But it's one of the takeaways also, to be open and to trust the process and to trust the people that you're living with, because they have your best interests at hand. And this community sure did.
Now that dovetails wonderfully into the next question, which is, what advice would you give someone who is looking to experience mission, looking to experience CTP? What would you give them as advice if they wanted to go to Germany or CTP in general?
In general. The first one would be open. Be open to the experience. Because so much comes from openness, right? Just be open to try new things. Be humble. Be open to learn humility. And by learning humility is knowing that you are not going to get the language 100%. You are not going to do things 100%. Sometimes you're going to do things that are culturally insensitive, right? But that openness to try it, I think, is a key. An openness to make mistakes and to learn from those mistakes. And also perseverance. Because I can tell you, during my first year, learning the language, learning German was very, very difficult. And my brain was about to explode. And I wanted to come back. I wanted to quit. But through the openness, through the support of conference and the guidance, I was able to persevere. And I went from really not getting the language to still not getting it 100%, but enjoy it. And don't forget to enjoy the experience, because 2 years go like this. They go by so fast. And if you don't enjoy it, then you're missing the whole, one of the main points, right? Enjoy our way of life, enjoy what we do, and have some fun. Work hard, but have fun.
Something that you touched on in your sharing previously that you haven't really talked about more here is the fact that you fell in love with the people. And I wanted to know if you could share a little bit of that and what that love relationship was like, in those 2 years.
Yeah, and it has to do with some of the cultural differences and challenges. Was that my notion of the German people was that they're very cold and distant, and this is a cliche idea that sometimes we have here in the States or anywhere in the world. So I went there with that notion, and I found people that were so welcoming, so ready to help me. I arrived in Germany on September 7th. On September 8th, as you know, we have our Foundation Day. So from San Agustin, I was invited to go. The next day, I was still jet lagged to go to Go. And San Agustin it looks like this, the building. And it was a gift from those wonderful people who took me in. From a wonderful couple. Their man is Vietnamese. The woman is from Indonesia. And they have a beautiful, gorgeous Vietnamese, German, Indonesian daughter. And they became a home away from home. But what I wanted to say was that on my first full day in Germany, I was sleeping at one of the parishioners' house. And she took me in another comfort without knowing us. And she went out of her way to make us feel comfortable. I think she was almost 80. Spoke no English, I spoke no German whatsoever, and from that moment on, I said, no, these people are wonderful, because no one takes you in like this right away. And it was one of the first of many houses that I visited, and that translated to the people that I met in Berlin, working at the parish, working with the homeless, right, working with the kids. They understood me, and they tried to understand me despite of my accent. Because if you think that I have an accent, a Guatemalan accent, with English, you can imagine how my accent with German was. But it is the openness and the love that they have for me, that they took me in. And I'm wearing this, which is the German jersey, right?
Yes.
From the national team, and it was also a gift from one of the families.
Okay. You also have this bear.
This is a bear.
How do you say this in German? Os?
No, it's a bear.
Bear.
Bear. And this
Who knew?
this is the symbol of Berlin, but it's spelled differently.
Uh-huh.
And it's a symbol of Berlin because, and it took me a couple of, no, I would say 6 months to, in my German flag, of course, to realize it. I always thought, because you find this bear all over Berlin, right? And I was wondering, what is the symbolism with the bear? And then it's Berlin, the name of the city, and bear,
Berlin.
And
I didn't know that. Did you know that? I didn't. Okay.
And
Berlin.
And in Berlin, one of the most famous phrases uttered by an American was by John F. Kennedy. Ich bin ein Berliner. And this is one of the phrases that I love because it really summarizes my CTP experience. You know, ich bin ein Berliner. I am someone from Berlin. I am a resident of Berlin. Not anymore, but in my heart, it's to some extent it's still there. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jorge. This was really great. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Now, I know that you have enjoyed this experience, and we want you to enjoy more by subscribing to our channel. Don't you want to hear more experiences of mission and learn more about religious life? Yeah. You can also share this video with your family and friends and those who might be considering the vocation of religious life. Thank you, Jorge, and I look forward to seeing you again. God bless you and keep you in His loving care.
Prost.
Prost.
And as the German would also like to say, Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. Thank you so much for this beer. This is really good. I usually don't like beer.
Oh, but there's beer and German beer.
Then German
Then
beer.
German beer.
Prost.
Prost.